What is up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well, and welcome back. So, got a good little vlog topic for you guys today, and you just saw me there using the new pole mount I just got. Hoping it makes the videos a little bit better for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So, got a vlog for today. Interesting topic, something that's been asked about on the channel quite a few times actually in the comments, is about the issues that happened with my car that in the end resulted in a check engine light that I can't really get rid of. So my car is blessed with the disaster of 540 timing chain guides exploding, basically. You might have saw it in the thumbnail. Basically, the chain in the motor rides on these plastic pieces. In the center plastic piece is this U-shaped guide. I'll put a picture right in here so you can see. And that guide just shits itself. Basically what happens. The other ones I think can go too, but usually it's that U-shaped guide. So now this is usually a problem. So the 540 was made from 97 to 2003. And this is usually a problem with the 99 to 2003, which is the Vanos model 540s. So what's puzzling about this problem is the part that usually breaks, which is that U-shaped guide, the centermost guide, is the same part number for the 97 to 98. But it doesn't really seem very prevalent in those cars. I haven't personally witnessed it. I've heard of people still replacing them, but I don't know if there's any case of it actually going. I feel as though maybe BMW changed the quality or type of plastic they used. I mean, it's really quite puzzling because there isn't even like a revision in the part number or anything for 99 and later. So it's quite odd. I don't know. Now, the other thing is some people don't always seem to have this issue, and I think some of it might play into the climate the car's in and the use, obviously. So I'm in a pretty cold climate, and I think that kind of made it that much worse. But basically, so in the 99 and later 540s, that guide commonly goes, and that's what happened in my car. So I'll just get into the story of why my car turned into such a disaster. And it wasn't just because of the guides. It was a few mistakes that I think is important for anybody else watching to know who's into these cars, because it's going to help you if this ever happens to you. So in my car, that guide went. Initially, I thought it was something to do with Vanos, which was ridiculous because it was a really loud racket. I don't know why I thought that. So we took the motor apart and got in there and realized the guides were blown up. So they're like, all right, well, we're going to replace the guides. And we figured while we were in there, we'd do some other things, fix some of the oil leaks. I mean, you get the front cover off and some other shit to do the job, which helps you to, so you can replace some other problematic kind of things in the motor, particularly oil leaks, which, believe it or not, this car does not leak a drop of oil anymore, which frankly to this day still blows my mind, because these cars seem to just like always leak no matter what. BMW, what are you gonna do? So basically got it all apart and realized it was the guides. So we got the guides, went to do that, and ooh shit, holy crap. I don't know if you guys just caught that on camera, maybe not. Some guy over there, friggin' blown up tire, like just shredded. Just trying to change it on the side of the road. Christ, that didn't look too good. It's lucky you didn't roll the fucking thing. Christ, I mean, it was literally like shredded, the whole tire. So, anyways, what I was saying. So we got the motor all apart, front off and everything. We go to put the guides in, we get the tools it took a while to get the tools to time the motor, because they were like, they were all the tools were out that we wanted to rent, so I had to wait till they were available. That was a huge pain in the ass. And so got the tools to time the motor, which is real complicated and stupid process. Maybe I can make a whole nother video about that one and why that's an issue. And we went to put the motor back together, and we figured before we went through everything and finished it all off, it would be a good idea to do a compression test and leak down test and confirm the health of the motor before we put this whole thing back together, and find out that it's garbage. which I figured it would be good, but it was worth it. We figured it was worth to check. Please do not put yourself through this shit. If this happens to you, don't check. These motors very rarely have low compression. BMW's bottom ends are built really well, and especially if it's been maintained, oil changes, I wouldn't even worry about it. And this was the first mistake, frankly, in the whole thing. So we did that, and we found that it was really weird. A few of the cylinders would they weren't consistent. First we did the leak down test, and a few of the cylinders came back with low compression. It was really odd. So then we were like, well, you know what, let's just do a full-on compression test. And one cylinder in particular, turning the motor over, would not work out, but the other ones went back to normal. And we started to listen, and you could hear the air leaking past the intake valves or the exhaust valves in some of the cases. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, the motor ran fine before, like, did we bend a valve? Or, and we figured, you know, I drove the car a little bit after the guys went. I thought maybe it jumped timing and bent a valve. I don't know. So then we decided to take the heads off and end up here. Put this right in right now. Picture of that. Which, that sucked. We take all the lifters apart. Everything looks fine. We don't even know what's going on. All the valves, nothing's bent. You can look at the pistons, and you can clearly see there was never any piston to valve contact or anything. It's totally mind-boggling. Makes no sense. So we go to put the heads back on. Well, now, do not take the heads off this motor. Like, it's just an instant, like, screw yourself. So we take the heads off, and what happens is, when you go to retorque them, a few of the bolts, the threads, there's a little bit less thread because it's the holes that that have the dowel in them for head alignment. Well, so when you go to retorque them, you get like all the way through the torquing process, the last step, you've already stretched all the new head bolts, so you're screwed on that. Now you need new head bolts, and a few of the threads pull out. Awesome. So now you have to rent another tool called the TimeCert tool. Put a picture of that in right here too. And you put in these little threaded inserts, basically. You drill out all the holes. And now we could have just done the ones that we pulled the threads out, but I don't want to chance it, so we were just like, screw it. We're going to do every single hole. It was like 20 of them. So we did all 20. That, you know, a very time-consuming, annoying process. Got that all worked out. Put the heads back on after, you know, we dicked with all the shit. And we do the compression test and shit again, and it's the same shit. We're like, what the hell? At this point, we just go, you know what? We're just throwing it back together. So we put the whole thing back together, which goes relatively smoothly. And then the motor kind of runs like rough initially. Kind of ran like crap, you know, like it's holding a valve open a little bit or something. And fairly quickly after that, though, it just started running normal. And frankly, it runs great ever since. I've put about, I don't know, like almost 6,500 miles on it since then. And it seems to be awesome. But the story doesn't end that positively. Ah, shit, sun's in my eyes now. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, well, I'm turning off this road in a little bit, so that'll go away in a minute. So, the story doesn't end there. It's more fucked up than you even already think. Yep. It's just, like, fantastic, you know? So, the motor starts to run pretty good, but then the check engine light comes on, and it won't go out. And I emailed Raj, the guy who owns and runs Bison Systems. He sells all the Vanos repair stuff, which I forgot to mention. I did that as well, just as a precaution, figuring my seals could be bad or whatever. That was a whole nother disaster. I could make another thing I could make a video about. Maybe I will in the future if you guys want me to dig into the whole Vanos issue and some do's and don'ts of that and things you want to think about if you're really crazy enough to think you want to do that. Another disaster. You guys are probably laughing at me. You probably think I'm like so negative on this whole thing. I promise you I'm not upset about any of this in the least. It's really like, it's totally fine now. But I just say it this way because I want you to all understand how much of a disaster this can turn into if you let yourself get into it. It's really can end up as a very not enjoyable experience, to say the least. anyways, so that, there's a whole nother thing with the Vano stuff, but one guy in particular who knows a lot about timing these motors is and issues with them that may result in repair like this is Raj from Bison. So I talked to him, and he asked me give him the codes, send him the codes, and he says, well, the codes are caused by one of two things. Either you have an aftermarket or faulty cam position sensor, or you have, or the motor timing isn't 100% right. I replaced the cam sensor, and what do you know? The code's still there, which basically tells you that it's the motor timing, which is, not too good, because it basically means that I have to pull the whole thing apart. Now, a bunch of people have commented and mentioned that, if you're good, you can do it in so many hours or whatever. And well, my biggest thing was about having to rent the tools again, because that's just a whole pain in the ass. And I did notice you can buy the tools now for fairly affordably on eBay, like $90, I think I saw a set for. I'll put a link in the description actually to that if anybody wants to look at those if you're thinking about doing this job, because you're way better off just buying that than renting them. It's just a pain in the ass. So the main reason now why I don't really want to get into it again is just because I'm concerned that I'll go through it all again and still not have a time break. Because when I did it, I was quite careful about timing, and I still ended up with this situation. So I'm really concerned that I could very easily just end up back where I am right now, and I don't want to go through that again, to just end up in the same position. That would really stink. So never mind, sorry, I thought that was somebody I knew. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about doing it. I'm still thinking about buying those tools and just trying to retime the motor and resolve this issue, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. So I hope that outlines some of the issues you want to avoid with doing this job and be careful with. Number one, frankly, don't take the heads off. If you start, don't even bother doing a compression test. This probably sounds ridiculous to people, but it made me go on a wild goose chase, and it just made my life like way more difficult than it needed to be. So I really just would recommend not going there. If you are planning to do this repair, just don't put yourself through the hassle. Just put the motor back together, be careful as you do it, do a good job, and frankly, you should be okay. The whole timing thing really gets me though. It sucks. And a lot of shops, a really well-renowned, good BMW shop we know of around here, who has worked on these cars a lot as well, won't even do this job. If someone comes in, they're like, just get another engine. It's that much of a pain in the ass. I really love these cars, but honestly, if you're looking for one, it doesn't seem like the 97 and 98s are as common to have this issue. So honestly, I would get one of those if you really, if it happens to you. And I would get a 97 and 98 if you're really interested in having a 540. They seem to have the least issues and whatever, and they don't seem to have this problem. At least most of them don't. So yeah, it can end up like a real disaster, as I just outlined, and you just want to save yourself that hassle. I hope I gave you guys some little tips on things to think about if you are planning to do this job. And I think I'm going to let you guys go now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some good information and cleared the air on the situation with my car and what happened, and I'll catch you guys next time. So I hope everybody has a fantastic day. If you're stopping in for the first time and you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time.